I can give you a little history about the Hammond organ that is within the black tradition. There's something special about the Hammond organ, that the first time that it was played traditionally within the black church was in Chicago at the First Deliverance Church in Chicago. And what they found out about the Hammond organ is that the Hammond organ has a sound like the people or the congregation. And when the preacher comes to the close and begins to have a cadence and a song in his voice, the Hammond organ then will join in. But what happens when the Hammond organ joins in is that there is a dialogue between the preacher and the musician. And something happens that is amazing, that there is an improvisation that happens between the preacher and the musician. But as the musician talks, then something happens between what the preacher says and what the musician does, because there's a double entendre that is happening as we're going back and forth right now. Some people think that the preacher is just being emotional. Some think that the preacher is just offering some phrases, but there's actually a subversive theological framing that is happening. Because the subversive theological frame that is happening is though you hear the words that I'm saying, but there's a sonic theology that is underneath what is happening. Because the sound of the Hammond did not start in Chicago. The sound of the Hammond, you got to go down the Mississippi. You got to make your way to the state of Mississippi to get that pentatonic blue note sound where the Hammond comes from. But the Hammond doesn't even come from that area in Mississippi. It actually comes from an area in West Africa. Because when our ancestors heard the sound of the Hammond, it sounded like the congregation talking back to each other. And what was that sound? That was the sound that was in the transatlantic slave trade. In the hull of the ship, somebody was moaning like the Hammond organ. And when your big mama heard the sound, it spoke to her spirit, saying, though they tried to destroy me, the sound still made it here. And we're still here as a people. And the next time you shout, when a preacher starts preaching and an organ starts playing, you need to know that your shout is going back several hundred years. Because we've been through so much that nobody could destroy. You tried to take our rhythm. You tried to give us blues. But we're still here. Good day. May the Lord bless you real good. But can I preach for a moment? When I think about the goodness of God and all God's done for me, my soul cries out, hallelujah. Is there anybody in here? Do you have your rhythm still? Even though you've got the blues, God will hold you. God will keep you. I've got to get out of here. But can I tell you one more thing about the pentatonic scale? Can I tell you one more thing about the blues? We heard gospel music by the choir just a little while ago. But do you know that there's a father by the name of Thomas Dorsey who created what we know as gospel music? But before he was playing in church, he was in a juke joint playing the blues. You've got to know that every gospel song you sing has the same chords as a blues song. We just change the lyrics in order to get to the moment of the good news. You still miss what I'm saying. So let me make it plain. On Friday at Calvary, that's the blue note. On Friday at Calvary, that's the blues. But let me tell you, something happens early on Sunday morning. On Sunday morning, the gospel gets up. The good news is proclaimed. And we are set free. Good day, Alfred Street. May God bless you real good. But is there anybody in here? Do you have your rhythm? Do you have your blues? Somebody ought to open up their mouth and give God praise. I don't care who thinks they're in power in the White House. I serve a God who gave me my rhythm and helps me get through my blues. Is there anybody in here? Do you know the God I'm talking about? Do you know the God I'm talking about? This God I know will hold you, keep you, bless you, heal you, liberate you. Good day, may God bless you. But I just wanted to tell you, they may want our rhythm, but don't want to hear our blues. But keep your rhythm, share your blues, and watch God work. 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 Good day.